Alright, so today we're building the Demon Blood Sword from Adventure Time, and I'm gonna get right into this because this one needs a bit of a voiceover this time because I got a lot of clips where I couldn't use the audio. But so I started off with the cross guard because that seems like the centerpiece of this sword for me. So I started off, I made my own little template of the cross guard. I just folded a piece of paper, in half 4 times to get, a little quarter like you would do with snowflakes. Drew out 1/4 of it, cut that out, unfolded it, boom, you got your stencil. And I decided to do this with 3 pieces of 10mm foam to get the thickness I wanted, but you can do it with whatever thickness you want, just depending on how you're doing the sword. I just like to get mine as thin as I can, but also still as rigid as I can. And so yeah, you just cut the 3, glue the 3. I also left a lot more clips where it's just like blank, like footage, just so I can talk a little bit more. But after you can do this in multiple different ways. You can either cut out each individual one super precisely, or you can do what I do here and go ahead and glue them all together and then trim them all together at the same time. But you could easily just take your time, glue them all up or cut them all out precisely, and then glue them together very neatly. If you can't, I just know that I couldn't do that, so I had to do it as one solid block. I also think I should let people know that I'm not talking to the camera 9 times out of 10, I'm just talking to myself. But I mean, hey, it worked, so I'm not complaining. So now I want to work on the blade. So, the usual. I've done this a few times now. You just, figure out what your blade size is, draw, cut your basic blade blank, and then you carve your channel for whatever your core piece is to make it stiff. Okay, so we're gonna do something sort of similar to what we did with the Kakashi's Chakra Saber. We got all that done, and now we're gonna use we're gonna go ahead and put some contact cement down in the groove. And we're gonna use that to hold the rod in place. You can use super glue, hot glue, anything you want for this, really. I kind of like the little contact cement method, so I've been using it lately. Alright, so I also weighted it down with a bunch of things while it cured, because when you do it with contact cement, you do got to give it a little bit longer to set up. Yeah, you're still good, like you should be. The heat gun never gets put away, it just stays right over there off camera at all times. It's too important. And then now you're just gonna go ahead and get the profile of your blade the way you want to. Figure out your point, figure out what size your blade is now. Make sure everything can fit where you need it to fit and look like what you're going for. And then right there, I just had to carve a little channel so that the cross guard can fit on it. So now I kind of got to find a way to mark my center on this guy, and to do that, I have a what does it say on here? Yeah, I have a 9. If you're using the same fiberglass markers from Walmart as I got, I'm using a 19/64 drill bit. Okay, so I can get about halfway through one way and then halfway through the other way. That's my plan, anyways. And so I gotta mark the center, and I gotta mark it well. So yeah, as I said, you just mark the center of either end of your cross guard, and then if you have bigger drill bits, use them, or however you do decide to carve that. But for me, I just had to drill each side to get it where I wanted to. As long as it's not too crooked, I think it's something we can live with. But let's see. Spoiler alert, it is fairly straight, but Jesus, dude, did I make the hole too small. Like, it was extremely tough to get on there. Can we just take a moment to talk about how many different hairstyles I go through in a single video? Like, I typically do something different with my hair almost every single day, so you can really tell like how long these videos take to do based on how many hairstyles I go through usually. Little tip to know how long the videos take. I did take a bit of a step back in this video where there's a lot more voiceover than anything, but there's also a lot of like just in-camera talking, but it's usually just like going off on tangents and ranting about something. It usually never has anything to do with it. Has something to do with what's going on, but like it's not imperative to further the video, you know. Top-notch cleaning method right there. Just blow all the dust away and let it spread into the air.
Okay, so we got the blade sanded down pretty well. Like this, honestly, I'm not really happy with how this blade ended up turning out. It's a lot rougher than I wanted it to be, but it's still shaped like the blade. Looks like a blade should, so it's good enough for me. I think that's like an interesting handle look. Do like something like that. Wrap it with something. Maybe have like the
tangent.
Wrap it with these, and then wrap it with that.
Side rant.
Design.
Epic cut.
Yep, so that's gonna be a nice fit once we get it glued together. Okay, so I made this pommel off screen. It's just foam dowel wrapped in a couple pieces of 2mm. I think I wrapped it in 3 pieces, and just rounded off the edges just to give it this some shots it's a circle, like a sphere, some it's just a rectangle, some it's rectangle, so I met it in the middle and did the like rounded rectangle, or you know what I mean. Luckily for me, this show has very like crude art design, so you don't have to be crazy accurate or even clean with your pieces. You kind of get to just really guess like a lot, and nothing has to look super clean and neat, because honestly sometimes the sword looks like it's flawless condition, sometimes it's really beat up. It really just depends on what they want for that episode. And so but yeah, now we just got to make the tooth, and I'm thinking to do the tooth, what I want to do is, as a matter of fact, to make the tooth, just to give us a perfect opportunity to actually use it. So I bought 2 containers. I've dabbled with it a little bit just to try to see and understand how it works, but I haven't really used it yet. But it is foam clay, so like I said, I haven't really used it. I've only kind of dabbled with its design a bit. You know, we don't need too much, just a little bit. So we're gonna try this out with some foam clay. And with foam clay, to get it to stick to things, you want it a little wet. So I just got a little spray bottle that I have to use for my hair. And so we gotta just make us a little claw, kinda. A little tooth. I don't know what it is. Actually, I don't know what it is. I think it's a
tooth.
I believe it's a tooth. I believe it's like a demon tooth or something.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I kind of got zoned out for a second there. I don't really discuss it right there, but what I was doing was taking water to smooth out the horn itself, but also water does help you form and mold it a little bit, and then it just air dries. But yeah, right there, I was using the water to like smooth it out, to get it as smooth as possible, to avoid having to do any sanding on it.
When it gets done and dry and all that. Add the 2 little crosses that go on either side of it, and then just add the actual wrap itself, and then, you know, of course we got to paint and everything. But so far that's that. I mean, that's what it is. You know, we're close. We're really
Despite
really close,
my reaction on camera, I am extremely excited when I'm building the props. I don't convey emotion well. So right here I just took the wood burner. Well, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll explanatory it anyways. You just take the wood burner and just carve out the little grooves to do the little design that goes on it, and yeah.
Will it catch me back here, like with my ass?
I just so happened to make one last trip to town, and lo and behold, they had some red plastic dip. So after I waste almost my entire thing of paint on it, I get some black plastic, or red plastic dip. And so now, instead of finishing it with just hand brushing it, you can avoid all these steps I took by just finding a can of this if you have to order it. But I'm going to hit it with some red plastic dip, and then we'll come back and add the final piece to it.
Okay, so right here I'm doing something a little bit different. Usually I just like hot glue the little strips together for whatever I'm doing, like the headbands and stuff. But this time I used hem tape to just like hem it together and then wrap it on there the way I wanted to, and then I just hot glued it to the sword itself. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video, and I guess I'll see you around for the next one.